Are we rolling?
You might end up spending anywhere between $150 to $200 simply on a click. You don't even know whether this click is actually from a genuine person or just a student doing a research. Then we have 80% of the people who don't even know whether they have a problem or not. Cold emailing has been the most effective and the most economical channel which you can implement for your business to get more leads. It's a human to human conversation, mimic human behavior.
Hey everyone, I am Moin, one of the co-founder at Inboxology. We help over 1500 companies globally to scale their cold email outreach. And I have spent over a decade in B2B sales and marketing world working with some of the best teams and the best companies including Adobe, Oracle, Microsoft and so on. And for 2025, it's my vision to dump my brain on the internet so people can learn from my experiences. And I'm starting with cold emailing as my first video because it is a channel which can be implemented for all size of businesses. So this video will give you a high level overview or a workflow which you can follow to make sure your cold emailing campaign is a success. And there are a lot of people who have made videos which are like 90 minutes, 4 hour long, or a 100 pager guide. But my idea was to simplify it so that anyone or any size of business can use these strategies to get more customers or more leads. In future, I will be definitely making in-depth videos on each and every topic, as well as tools which are being used by us or by other fellow marketers, as well as inviting top minds from sales and marketing world to speak on this channel and share their experiences for you. If you find something valuable from this video, please drop a like. If you think that I have missed something or any topic which I should explore in depth, definitely comment about it. And if you are curious about sales and marketing just like me, then please follow this channel. I will be posting go-to-market strategies for all sizes of business. Trust me, I have a client who is a candy shop and all the way to a cybersecurity company who is our client. So yeah, I know what I'm talking about. My only vision or my only goal is to educate people at no cost. If you know me, you know that I'm a strong advocate of a thought that knowledge must be free. So this is my first step in that direction. I really appreciate all your support and your trust. Cheers.
When we talk about cold emailing, people always think it's a channel to sell your product. But I think opposite of that. It's a channel where you can identify people who are actually interested in your service and then nurture them down the funnel. So when it comes to the funnel, this is something what it looks like. At the very top, we have people who have some level of intent. Then we have people who are considering. On the bottom side, we have people who are ready to take an action. And here are the people who are intending to go for a conversation with your sales rep. And once they go through this pipeline, they ultimately buy and become your customer. So at any given point of time, let's take this as your overall target market audience. There is only 3% group which is in the market who are like, I'm ready to pay, just take the money, give me the service or the product. There is another group of 15 to 20% which may not even be aware of your solution. So they know they have a problem, but they don't know you are someone who can help them out with that. Then we have 80% of the people who don't even know whether they have a problem or not. So when it comes to cold emailing, we are going to target the entire target market audience and identify where they stand in the funnel. We are not going to pursue selling them, but educating them about the problem you solve. When we talk about cold emailing, people always confuse it with email marketing. Email marketing is more focused on people who are already your subscribers. They might have subscribed to your newsletters or your guides, ebooks, whatever it may be. But cold emailing is about reaching out to audiences who you don't have a relationship, but you intend to develop that relationship maybe into new subscribers or a potential customer. The reason I say cold emailing is the most effective and most economical channel? It simply is. I'll give you an example here. Let's take you are a cybersecurity company or any IT company. If you want to reach out to new audiences using digital ads or Google search, Google keywords, then you might end up spending anywhere between $150 to $200 simply on a click. You don't even know whether this click is actually from a genuine person or just a student doing a research. But when it comes to cold emailing, the overall list for the campaign you're targeting is highly laser focused, and you exactly capture the intent of the prospect, whether they are actually interested in it or they are not interested. The reason is they reply to your email. It's a human to human conversation, and that is the only thing which is going to make your cold emailing campaign a success. Mimic human behavior. I might say this very often throughout this video, but that is the only thing I want you to use as your mantra. In this video, I will talk about the most key components of cold emailing. Very first being infra, second would be list building, then copywriting or building your offer, next would be scheduling, and finally, what metrics to track to know whether it's working out for you or not, and what are the metrics to track about your overall infrastructure health. You might be wondering, how many people should I reach out to on a daily basis? Now, we need to understand cold emailing is about experimenting. The higher the volume you have to experiment with, the easier or the quicker it would be for you to optimize your strategy and get better results. If you are starting, let's say, somewhere around 100 prospects a day, it will take you approximately 2 months to know whether this strategy works for you or not. And it's already too late to make any changes to your offer, your scripts, or your strategy. So, the best way or the most optimal way to start your cold emailing would be starting it with 1,000 prospects on a daily basis. So, if you are reaching out to 1,000 new prospects on a daily basis, within 5 days, you are sending 5K emails or you are reaching out to 5K new prospects. And 5,000 is a good number to optimize your overall strategy. You don't really have to wait 2 months. So, that is what I would recommend. Always start with 1,000 new prospects on a daily basis. When it comes to cold emailing, we want to make sure every single email reaches our prospect's inbox. It does not land in their junk folder, spam folder, or any other promotional folders. When it comes to infrastructure, it's quite simple. Very first thing is purchase the domains. When I talk about domains, for example, if you are orange.com, you can go with oranges.com, oranges.co, oranges.ai, best oranges, try oranges. There are a couple of ways to go around and find similar domains replicating to your original brand, which I will attach in the guide. Next thing would be setup users. When I say setup user, you sign up Google Workspace or Microsoft accounts. And finally, you need to use an email sequencer that will warm up these email accounts for you, as well as the sequencer is going to be used for sending out the emails. Now, there are a couple of sequencers out there. I like Instantly as a warm-up tool as well as an email sequencer because they have a bunch of more features apart from cold emailing, which can be used for a sales team, as well as they have the biggest warm-up pool. So when you are warming up your accounts with Instantly, you are pretty much building up your credibility with all the ESPs and all the ISPs out there. Let's take our example. We want to reach out to 1,000 new prospects on a daily basis. Like I said, we are mimicking human behavior, so we are not going to be sending a lot of email from every single email account. From every single email account, we will only send 10 new emails per day. We ultimately need 100 email accounts. Now, just the way we are splitting the limits of sending email per account, we are going to split these emails into multiple domains as well. You can go anywhere between 1 to 5, where 1 being very safe and 5 being a little aggressive. So we have identified that 3 is a good number to go with. So if I have to set up 100 emails, I would need approximately 33.3 domains. So I would just go with 34 domains. Yeah, so technically you get somewhere around 102 email accounts in total. This is something which you would need if you want to reach out to 1,000 prospects on a daily basis. If you want to reach out more, you can follow the same calculations. I will also mention it within the guide attached to this video. Now, here is a pro tip. If you are planning to send 1,000 emails and you need 100 email accounts, I would recommend you setting up to 120 email accounts. You always have an extra bandwidth, 20% extra bandwidth over your required bandwidth. You simply replace the domains which no longer can be used. Simultaneously, you can buy and set up new accounts. So when you are setting up these email accounts or these users on Google Workspace, you don't really have to club all your domains into one single workspace. Ideally, you will split it this way. You have one workspace with one domain and maximum 3 users. The reason we are going to do this is because let's assume you have all your 34 domains, 102 email accounts, all on the same workspace. If one of the email gets reported or one of the domain gets reported, the entire outreach infrastructure is at a risk and you might lose your entire infrastructure. However, if you follow the practice of one workspace, one domain, and limit it to 3 users, if anything gets blacklisted or gets reported, it will be limited only to that domain, that user, that workspace. Your rest of the email accounts, rest of the domains will not get affected by the health of that one reported account. Once you have purchased the domains, you can sign up with Google and Microsoft directly to set up these accounts. If you are setting up your email accounts by yourself or using a service like ours, I always recommend to set up the user accounts with the owner's name, the founder's name, or the director of sales. So, someone who can be the face of the company in case you are using some external help on SDRs or VAs to do the closing. They might keep changing, and you don't really want to be in a position where you have to go ahead and rename everything, re-warm up everything down the line. So, hence, avoid making that mistake and always set up a profile picture. When you set up a profile picture, ultimately you build more credibility with the person. They are more likely to open your email if they see a good smiling picture. It doesn't matter if you are buying the domains or email accounts from a reseller or setting it up yourself. You always need to make sure the MX, SBF, DMARC policy and DKIM authentication has been done accurately. These are your credentials which communicate with other ESPs and ISPs on the internet. If they are not validated, they are not authenticated, then you may come out as an unauthorized person sending an email. But if you have these authentication, you build up a good credibility for yourself and you can land into people's inbox. So when you are done purchasing your domains and your email accounts, the final step of infrastructure would be connecting it to an email sequencer for warm up. Now, warm up is a process of building credibility. Imagine you are a new neighbor on the block. On the very first day, no one is going to let you in their house. You need to build your credibility with your neighbors over the time period so that you can knock on their door one day for some help or maybe a party. So, that is exactly what happens when I talk about warm up. You, as a new neighbor, is the new email account. The internet is the neighborhood. Your neighbors are ESPs and ISPs. So when you connect your newly connected email accounts to the warm up sequencer, it will automatically send and receive emails on your behalf within its pool of people who have also connected their email accounts, replicating human behavior and building your credibility with all the ESPs and ISPs. Now that you have set up your domains and your email accounts, you simply need to connect it to a warm up service. You need to warm up your email accounts for at least 4 weeks. So 4 weeks is good amount of time to help establish your identity among other ESPs and ISPs. For 4 weeks, you can start with 30 with 60% response rate as well as increase by 2. So while you gradually increase your warm up, you are getting ready to send the campaign out for a month. And this is the reason I asked you guys to have extra 20% bandwidth when it comes to setting up your email accounts, because if something goes wrong, you are listed and you need to set up new accounts, it's going to take you a month to get those accounts ready. And during that month, the loss is not generally about those domains or those email accounts, but it's the loss of the opportunity which you are not creating during absence of those email accounts. So if you are reaching out to 800 prospects a day instead of 1000, that is a bigger loss compared to losing those email accounts. If you are setting up Microsoft accounts, I would recommend you warming them up for up to 6 weeks before using them in a campaign. Microsoft in general is an enterprise solution. They are not just selling out those email accounts. It's a productivity suite, same as Google, and it is built for enterprises. So when it comes to Microsoft, things can get a little complicated with the compliance and overall things about how Microsoft provides the service to their customers. So to be on a safer side, if you are setting up any Microsoft accounts, go with 6 weeks instead of 4 weeks of warm up. If you want to save your time and your money setting up all of these things, you can simply go to Inboxology. We take care of everything for you. You can purchase the domains, you can set up the accounts in less than 5 minutes, and we will take care of everything. We will set up your MX records, SBF, DMARC, DKIM authentication connected to your email sequencer of choice, and you always have admin access and the ownership, and you simply pay us literally 50 to 60% discounted price compared to going direct. And one more thing I would like to add here, there are a lot of people out there who might be claiming they are authorized resellers, but they are not. They might be simply selling you accounts which are meant for education. So Google literally provides accounts for education and organizational institutes without any cost. So people sign up for these accounts and resell those accounts at a cheaper price. Please avoid those. And one more thing, if you go 100% automated setup, there is a risk of getting banned because it's against Google's policy. So Google does not like the full automation, to be really honest with you. It has to be hybrid. There has to be a human touch involved. So always make sure, like the reseller, they might be authorized, but they have built a technology on top of that to automate the entire process, which again will not act in your favor. The very first thing we want to do is identify who are the people involved in the decision making when it comes to evaluating or buying your product or service. Are they managers or are they directors? Are they VPs? Are they the owners of the company? Are they involved in the board or not? Which industry do they belong to? Are they from retail? They are from IT? It could be anything. What is their employee size generally like? Clearly define the persona of your ideal customer. The next thing would be, apart from your ideal customers, which other markets are out there that can really benefit from your service? Now, I'll give you an example. I once went on a call with a founder who has built a company that creates dashboard for companies into manufacturing and retail industry. When I went on a call with him, he told me that it's not really a need to have service, it's more of a luxury you can have, and he wanted to promote that business through cold emailing. Now, when I looked at that service, I told him, like, this is something which agencies can benefit from. They can exactly know what's happening with their campaign, which target audience is working out well, which copy is working out well. He could provide those capabilities. So, yes, you might be limited to your ideal customers, but really ask yourself, what is the problem you solve, and which industries or which other job roles can benefit from your solution or your service. You can also use hiring portals to source the companies you should go after. Example, if you can help bring more leads to a business and they are hiring for a marketing manager, you can exactly reach out to these companies. They have a clear need defined. So you can reach out to them with a very personalized message as opposed to a generic message. Those are your people. Second thing is technology base. This is also a very important filter. which can give you information which company is using which product or service. Example, if you are a CRM company and you want to reach out to new target market audience, you can identify people who are already using your competitors or a product which is in line to using your CRM, and you can reach out to those companies as well. The last thing would be intent signals. So data aggregators such as Apollo, ZoomInfo, Seamless, they provide you signals on people who are looking for a specific product or service. You can use that particular data as well. So I'll write it down again. Look for hiring posts through LinkedIn. You can use other hiring platforms. Look for intent data as well as look for tech base. When it comes to sourcing all of these contacts, you can always use data aggregators. However, there are also freelancers who can provide this service at a cheaper cost. I would recommend you checking out Instantly Lead Finder. You can use a lot of filters within the Lead Finder and source the list for your campaign. Now that you have sourced list of people you want to reach out to, you want to make sure every single email on that list is a valid email and you are able to reach that particular person. We should ensure zero bounce rate when it comes to cold emailing. Reason is when humans exchange email, there is 1 in 1,000 chance that email would bounce. So yeah, zero bounce rate is what we are looking for. And to ensure we have zero bounce, there are multiple ways. One of the ways is to use two different providers to verify your email accounts. So your email list, instead of running it through one provider and using that, run it through two different providers. There are a lot of services, zero bounce, million verifier. I'll mention those in the guides. And only emails which have been validated on both the platform, use those in your campaign. You can also implement a waterfall strategy, which for verification, you can literally build a verification service where it will go through multiple checks, and it can also identify catch-all emails using services like Lead Magic. So yeah, net, don't rely on a single provider's results. Use two different providers and only use the emails which have been verified through different platforms or through the waterfall strategy. Now, when it comes to copywriting, a generic copy, something like, hey, I saw that you are a sales manager at XYZ, and that is the reason I'm reaching out to you. That is something which is not going to work. If I see an email like that coming to me personally, it straight ends up in my junk folder. So we are not going to send spammy copies at all. There are very simple rules when it comes to copywriting about a cold email, which we will discuss in details. But yeah, no generic copies at all. They are not really pleasing. They are not going to make your prospect take an action and respond to you. So totally avoiding those scraps. Now there are a couple of other thumb rules which you need to make sure when you are writing a copy for your cold email campaign. The very first thing is using text only. We are not going to include any kind of links, any kind of image in our email copy. The reason is if there is any kind of link, it is most likely to get caught by a spam filter, or if your prospect's company has installed an endpoint security system, it might end up in a quarantine folder if it's not a text only message. And trust me, no one checks the quarantine folder. So avoid any kind of links and images. Keep only text. Make sure your email is mobile friendly. Most of the time, people check their emails when they wake up, when they're in the elevator, when they're driving towards the work, and these times they don't check it on laptop. So if your email requires a scroll, generally this is what I follow. I send it to myself and check. If I need to scroll, I will just trim the copy a bit. If I don't need to do scroll, then it's a good copy. So keep it crisp, keep it short, use less words as possible, and avoid any kind of spammy words. If there are any spammy words, just simply replace them with couple of other words using ChatGPT, or Instantly has an amazing spam checker which can replace these words for you. So when it comes to writing a copy for your email campaigns, especially cold emails, the first thing you need to keep in mind is it's not about you, it's about your prospect. You need to start your email with problem statement which they can resonate with, then place your USP or your offering in the context of prospect getting value out of that. You can mention about a case study, how you have helped people similar to their company grow XYZ, whatever, for them to identify that you are not just another company and this is not your first rodeo. Then call to action is very important. Earlier I mentioned most of the people will focus on that 3% market which are ready to buy immediately and fail miserably because their call to action is around calls, demos, or trials. Now, as humans, we don't like big commitments. Imagine walking up to a stranger and asking them to get married to you. They are literally going to reject you right then and there. The good way is to go ahead and ask out for a first date, get to know each other, and then see if you can go for a bigger commitment. So, our call to action would always be a lead magnet. Now, this lead magnet can be anything. It can be an ebook, a white paper. You can invite them to your webinar. You can give them free analysis. You can give them free evaluation or anything which prospect literally gets value out of. Finally, we come to PS line. This is where I try to get playful and witty. One of my PS line is, if this strikes a chord or two, let me know. If not, tell me to take a hike. You can be a little funny and witty, and prospects generally respond back to you. Even if they are not interested, it is overall good for your email infrastructure health. Plus, when the time is right for them to evaluate a service which you are offering, you would be the first person they would think of. So, yeah, go with a good PS line. I will attach some of the good examples which have worked out for us in the past and for our clients in the guide. Once you have built your email copy, the next thing would be to use spin tags. You are not going to be sending the same email, which is 100% exact content, to thousands of prospects every single month. You are not experimenting enough. That is one thing. Second thing is you will get identified by spam filters or by ESPs and ISPs about the spam. So we don't want that to happen. That is the reason we are going to come up with at least 10 version of every single line in your email and then randomize it for every single prospect. For example, if you have Aaron in your email list, he gets call to action 1, problem statement 3. How do we exactly do that? I will help you out with that in the guide so you can check that out in more detail. But remember this, every single email which goes out from your mailbox should be 90% unique, not only in the context of testing new markets, but also to stay under the radar of spam filters or ESPs and ISPs. You can literally use an AI model which will go out, research about your contact list, your target audience, identify if there are any news, any hiring information, any events about your prospect or their company. Use that information in context to your service and position the email using that particular reference, which comes out highly personalized. So I will definitely make a video about how you can do that. But Josh Whitfield and Ty Shane have already achieved amazing results using this particular system. So yeah, I'll leave their details in here and you can reach out to them. Talk about scheduling your campaigns. Now, we generally send out emails Monday to Friday, right from 7 all the way up till 10. The reason is most of the people they check their emails when they are waking up early in the day. And this is the time when they are getting started for the day or they are already at their work and they are at their desk before they get busy with meetings or other individual tasks. They check their emails, and this is something which has given us best results so far. The next thing is about scheduling, which most of the people may not follow. We don't want all of our emails going out from our mailboxes at the same particular time. That is the reason we can add random additional time between each email. So this time we generally define it anywhere between 7 to 10 minutes so that when the emails are supposed to go out, there is a break. It's not going to send all your prospect list at the same time. it will take a gap of 7 to 10 minutes for each particular account after sending every single email. And there are a couple of overall other configurations which we do, such as making sure it is a text only email. Do not send emails to people who have already responded. So I will attach all of that information in the guide. When it comes to tracking your metrics, the very important one will be to make sure you have zero bounce rate. We already spoke about how you can achieve that. Next thing would be tracking your overall email infrastructure's health. So you should always check your warm up score. It should always be above 95%. Warm up score actually means if your warm up is sending out 30 emails, how many of them are actually landing into the inbox? If there is a dip, let's say I am sending out 30 emails and only 24 are making it to the inbox, 6 are landing into spam, then definitely there is something wrong. You need to check out if you are blacklisted, or check your MX, SPF, DB mark, everything again. If the problem persists, just warm up your emails. Don't use them for campaign for 2 weeks with slow warm up, and try to check the health again. Yeah, so your warm up rate should be above 95%. You can always run inbox placement tests as well. Identify when you send an email from Google to Microsoft, Google to Google, any other provider to Google or Microsoft, are they reaching the inbox or not? The last thing is response rate, specifically positive response rate. So your positive response percentage, when you are starting out, it should be above 1%. Now you might be wondering why 1%. If you have 1% positive response rate, you are getting 10 new leads every single day. This number can always be increased and optimized. It totally depends on how you invest in your overall system. If you are leveraging AI, or you are sending hyper personalized email every single time, every single prospect, you know your prospect well, you have researched them well, you have been smart enough when you have been sourcing the contacts, you can see this number change to anywhere from 5% to 20%, and even better, honestly, to be really honest with you. So yeah, it all comes down to that. If you can reach this number, great. But if not, at the minimum, aim for at least 1 to 2% positive response rate. If you are struggling to even get 1% positive response rate, you should immediately go back, look at your copy, look at your target audience, see what's happening, why are people not interested, is it not the right time, are you not reaching out to the right people, or your offer is completely off. So this is something which is going to help you in your overall endeavor. All right, that is all. This video is a very high level focused video. However, the guide will have more details on how to perform each steps, or what are the best practices for each step. So yeah, reach out to me if you have any questions through email. If you need, you can set up a meeting. If you are in Dubai, or if you happen to come to Dubai anytime soon, I would be happy to meet you. I really love to spend time around people who are passionate about sales and marketing, and also about the technology. Thank you so much for your time, and have a wonderful day, night, afternoon, evening, wherever you are.